Yes, come up. On 610.
Yes, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's right. Yeah. Okay, yes.
You were.
Yeah, yeah, good morning. Okay,
Bring it down.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Okay, everyone.
Thank you for joining us. It was my full intention this morning to begin today with medley of popular show tunes from the 30s, 40s, and 50s that I was going to play on my harmonica. However, I was couldn't find it. So we're going to do something else instead. So without further ado, I'm going to begin our announcements and introduction. We have many people here today with us. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
All right, thank you. We have some council members and elected officials from Nashville. And so as I call your name, if you could just raise your hand or stand so we can see who you are. We have Tom Cash from District. Is Tom Cash here? Okay. Erin Evans, I don't see her yet. Olivia Hill. Jordan Huffman is here. He's from District 14. He's newly elected council member. Terry Bowe. Is Terry Bowe here? And is Judge Robin Kimbrough here? Oh, this is, hi Judge, good morning. All right, thank you so much. The next set of introductions I want to make. This is very important to me for the police department and MPD to support the efforts of Mayor to Mayor. We, if you've been to any of our other events, our other forums, you know that we hold them at the police precincts. Most recently, we were in Hermitage and we were in West Precinct in January. Today, we are very happy to be at North with Commander McClain. And he told me this is not his house, this is the city's house, and so therefore, thank you, Commander McClain. And is anyone here from in the North Precinct, Police Precinct District, the North Police Precinct? Okay, could you please raise your hand? We want to count.
You talking about residents or
The residents who live in this police precinct.
Okay.
Yeah.
You got, I got
All right, thank you.
2,000.
Is Lieutenant Coker, Michelle Coker here today? Okay, and she is the Office of Community Outreach and Partnership. And we have Sergeant Gomez, hello, Sergeant Gomez, from Midtown. Is anyone here from Midtown? Okay, we have two, anyone? We got two? Okay, thank you. Thank you, Sergeant Gomez. Okay, now, South Police Precinct. Okay, Sergeant Diggs. Okay, I have done, pronounce your name for me, please. Elovich.
Something.
Okay, sorry. Oh, thank you so much. Is anyone here from the, so do we count the ones from South? Okay, thank you. Sergeant Luis Lopez, thank you. We have been at Madison many times, and so we want to get the count from Madison Police Precinct. Okay, and from Central, we have Sergeant Lindsey Smith. Thank you, Sergeant Smith. Anyone here from Central? Okay. You want to be record, we want, now, just as a reminder, we do this 4 times a year. You want to make sure your people come out because you here and you want them to know to be here. All right, and now, from my own district, police precinct, Sergeant Paul Smith. Okay, count me, Jim. That's me. Okay, and, Sergeant Matthew Billicat, is he here today? And he is from West. And, Sergeant Robert Weaver from. Count your Hermitage people. You got, okay. You get them, Jim?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Okay, now, because we, like our neighbors so much, we are going to present to the commander of North Police Precinct a little gift because so many of your people showed up to support
That's
this
right.
event. Okay, and now we have a few more people that we would like to recognize and introduce. May I ask one question? How many are here for the first time to a legislative event? Okay, great. That's great. Very, very good. Thank you so much. Now, what I would like to do is to introduce you to the people who helped make this possible. I'm Wasey Zabo. I started as a volunteer from Labor Day in 2016, and I started doing some grant facilitation with them. And then I just started hanging around, and then all my marvel skills became manifest. And I was hired full time in March as the director of programs and grant development. And I really like this organization. That's why I'm here, because I retired about 50,000 years ago, but I'm still working. And Jim Hart is the executive director. You might know Jim, you have seen him everywhere. And we have a new contract staff person, Denise Palmer. She's from social media with us. We have our board chair, Lisa Haller, and she is in Midtown Hills Police Precinct, Van Pima North, right? North. And he is vice chair. We have Gina Coleman is in the Gina Coleman. Right, Gina Coleman is, many people know Gina because of the hard work that she has been doing for so many years in her neighborhood.
That's right.
And we have a new board member, Greg Gunther. Where is what? South, okay, is that everybody?
Hmm?
Okay, and now last but not least, our very important they're not last, okay? We have our AARP sponsor for this event, and we have Rita Martell going to be coming up in a few minutes, give a few words for us. We have Rick Wise, we have Dennis, and we have Vivian Martin, and they are AARP volunteers, and they're big supporters of ours. Now, last but not least, our volunteers, Ingrid Campbell from McFerrin Park has been here with us a long time to help us with everything that we do. And Ed Grant here is also one of our dedicated volunteers. Did I need anybody else? Mark Overton, he's standing out in the hall. He was a former board member and he's a volunteer as well. Now, one more group of people I would like to acknowledge. I'd like for you to turn to either left or right, or look behind you. If you see anybody that you do not know, have never seen this person before, wave to them and tell them your name. It's very important. We need to know who you are. That's it.
Hello, everyone. Hey, I appreciate everybody being here. I'm Commander Anthony McClain here at North Precinct. These type of meetings are extremely important. And I tell people all the time, we gotta get to know each other,
That's
right? And if you have been in one of the meetings I've attended, I've always say, strong communities need the police less.
Yeah.
The police is part of the solution, but we're not the total solution, right?
That's right.
So as we come together, we bring nonprofits, stakeholders, the city, law enforcement, big businesses, small business together, work through issues and concerns. We have a strong, vibrant community. So thank you for being here. Just a real quick housekeeping. If you need to use the restroom or anything, is out these doors and to your right. Okay. If you have any issues, concerns, my door is always open. Please come see me. We'll sit down and have a chat and work through whatever issues or concerns you might have. Thanks everybody for being here. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, and Jacob Copeland.
Okay, we see up there, two new council members who have come, Jacob Cooper, and also, I see Deontay Toombs is here in the house as well. Right, okay, thank you. Is that it, everybody?
Yep, there.
That's it,
No,
then?
he's gonna come up and speak.
Oh, come on, man. Me and that harmonica, I should have brought my harmonica.
Well,
We would say, having a- come on, man, I'm sorry.
Well, the agenda says, identifies me as Van Pennock, neighborhood board vice chair and senior board. Now, my original responsibility was to introduce the representative from AARP. Now, why I'm called the senior board member right before I introduced AARP, I don't know. But the judge's position on that is a little concerning. So, but I am going to take a little bit different approach since Ms. Martin has already been introduced. I am going to recognize Diana Alcombe and her husband George. George came all the way from South Florida, a whole different precinct, a whole different community, just to be with us. Anyway, so I did want to take a point of personal privilege. Over the last couple of weeks, I guess, 3 weeks, I've had an opportunity to be in the midst of North Precinct officers managing a couple of different situations. And I can tell you that, and this is, on a personal privilege, this is not an advertisement. It is just the fact that I witnessed 2 different sets of officers working with members of the community. And it was a very professional interaction. I did call Commander McLean on one of them. There were 2 women that were managing a person who was quite irate, and they did it very professionally. And I had to call and give compliments because it was done very well. And so whatever is happening needs to continue happening in that regard. The second incident was yesterday. There was a young man who was having some difficulty. It climbed into a dumpster, and the officers were there working with him, trying to get him what he needed. And so I pulled my car into the parking lot and gone in the store, came out, and they were still working with this young man. And so finally, and I stood there. And so finally, one of the officers turned and looked at me, as I knew he probably would if I stayed there. And I said, "Officer, is there no help?" He said, "Yes, in that car right there." I said, "Okay, well, looks like everything is working as it should be." So I just wanted to say thank you to North Precinct and all MMPD for continuing to work with our citizens that are in stressful situations. So with that, we'll ask Ms. Martell to make her way up to the front. And also Jim says to remind you that if you're not a member of Neighbor to Neighbor, please think about becoming
And a volunteer.
and volunteer. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dave.
Rita. Welcome. I see.
5 minutes.
Yeah.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. I'm Rita Martell, volunteer director for Middle Tennessee with AARP. And so AARP has been a partner with Neighbor to Neighbor all this year and really involved in some exciting things. Our members went to a lot of the mayoral forums and very active and getting out the vote. We don't endorse candidates, but we do like for people to vote. And then we also kicked off the age-friendly program with the city of Nashville that happened in February, and Jim is part of that. We decided this year to focus on mobility. And so that's what we've been working on. I've been working closely with NDOT, the projects they have to add an age-friendly lens on the projects because they're building roads with commuters in mind, not with pedestrians. So there's some areas of town that's just not safe to walk because if they have sidewalks, they're broken. And it's a lot of work to be done because we're developing into a culture now that likes to get out and walk with our friends, with our children, just to be able to have a place to live where you can walk safely to wherever you go. So we did a walk audit last week, actually. And the walk audit is developed by AARP, and it gives you scoring sheets and you rate the sidewalks and things that may be wrong and crossings and are the signs too high where you can't really see them? Does it take longer to cross an intersection if you're a senior than it does if you're not? And so it's just little things that really turn into big things from a safety focus. We did the walk in Englewood, and I asked Jim to recommend a strong leader in their community because we wanted the community to be involved with this. We, as AARP, didn't want to send in all of our volunteers to do a walk audit in a neighborhood they don't live in. And so Jim recommended this wonderful gentleman. He just jumped right in. He and another woman that we had met at an AARP event, and they became the leaders in Englewood. So we did a walk, we did a day, and 14 people in the community show up to do the walk. And the two representatives, Emily Benedict was very supportive of this, and so was Clay, the newly elected councilman. Tuesday, we had about 8 people there. And so they really got into looking at where they live, and there's a project now in McGavitt. And so we'll be working with them to give them back the information from the walk audit. And this is something that we can do in any community, but it's also something you can do in your own community. I brought some walk audit books with me. It's good instructions, and you can get a group of people to do a walk audit as well to send the results to your local representative. So thank you for giving me this time. I want to recognize our other volunteers who are here. So Vivian, wave a hand. Oh, okay, right up here. And Nancy. Yeah, I think they thought they were going to hold Nancy at the door for a few minutes. And then Dennis and Rick in the back. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you, Rita. Thanks.
Okay, we're gonna do our time today. First of all, this is one of the largest forums that we have ever had, and I want to thank each of you for being here today. These forums, first of all, thank you for persevering through the road closure. Believe it or not, this is not the first time that we've had this situation. Back in 2019, Purity Dairy closed down the road in front of the conference for neighborhoods, and everybody had to park blocks away and walk, and it was raining. It's a horrible experience.
So today I was like, this is another, but to some of you it was, we apologize for that inconvenience. It is good to see so many of you here. Neighbor to Neighbor is a local nonprofit organization that has been founded and continues to be led by neighborhood leaders across the metropolitan area. We have one purpose, and that is to equip residents and neighborhood organizations with the tools that they need in order to preserve and improve neighborhoods. One of the reasons why we host this forum in conjunction with the mayor's office it is because we believe that it is important for neighborhood leaders from across Davidson County to get together on a regular basis to meet one another. And not just neighborhood leaders, but elected officials, staff from government agencies, and also the other key neighborhood stakeholders play a role. And we want that to happen because, you know, it's one thing for it to happen now in this space, it's quite another thing to happen in the middle of a crisis. And so by developing these relationships now, when something does happen in your neighborhood and you have a concern, hopefully you already know the person or you have a resource that you can reach out to and be better prepared for whatever's coming down the road or whatever roadblocks may be in your way. So that's why we do it. We also do it because we think it's important for neighborhood leaders to have the opportunity to hear from the mayor's office and also, most importantly, to provide feedback. We are the on the ground people who see what's going on in this community. And our collective wisdom is extremely valuable to the mayor, the vice mayor, to the mayor council members. And so your presence here today is an important thing. And we're very glad that you're here. Now we're getting ready to do neighborhoods and brags, but before we do, we're going to do one, and that is to tell you about the conference for neighborhoods that's coming up. You may have seen the press release that came out Thursday announcing the date and location, but if you haven't, the 6th annual conference for neighborhoods, which we call C4N Nashville for short, that is going to be at the Cal Turner Center at Mahari Medical College. This is an incredible facility. We have chosen to be here this year, particularly because we want to talk about neighborhood health. We also want to talk about neighborhood equity. And if you have never been to the campus before, you're in for a pleasant surprise. It's a great place to be, and this building is spectacular. So please begin now. Put on your calendar Saturday, March 23rd, 2024, right? And begin to encourage your neighbors to mark that day as well. We're hoping to have 300-400 people at this event this year. And it would be really great if you were there. So now I get to announce the theme of the conference. We held this specifically because you people are the ones that are here today. So we want to give you a sneak peek into the theme for this year. Cleaner, greener, safer, better. The power of neighbors working together. That is what we're all about. And we want you to be part of the conference and enjoy it. And we're looking forward to it. Now, we have 2 brief announcements with it, new things that we've never done before. I'm going to ask Wasey Zani to come up and talk about the first.
The flight change is planned. We have been informed that the mayor will be in 5 minutes. And so that's earlier than we had planned it and scheduled. But we want to make sure that we have the voting period here, okay?
Good. So go ahead and do your part all the way.
Okay, all right. Okay, so we are seeking for the conference subject matter experts. And that does not mean someone has been to Harvard or Oxford and had good titles. Many letters behind the names. We're looking for people who have information, knowledge, skills, resources, and time based on the types of subjects that we are going to be having at the conference. And so you can see what they are. So if you yourself or you know anyone who you would like to recommend, just let them get in contact with me, my information is at the bottom. And we can make sure we have a good conversation, so we're gonna have a great conference, and we need your input. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Wasey. And I'm watching the door now, as our board chair. In addition to being co-chair, she's actually a really good looker. So she's looking out, see what they're pulling in, so that she's telling me quiet. Okay, so the other thing that we want to do is so Wasey has a form in there about the subject matter experts in your packet. The other thing that is in there is something brand new that we've never done before at the conference, the neighborhood showcase. And we are looking for neighborhood organizations that have had a interesting, great, good, spectacular project, event, or activity in 2023 that they would like to tell the world about. And we're going to do that showcase at the conference. And then after the showcase occurs, we're going to have a panel of judges who will vote and select the best show. And then everybody who attends that session will have an opportunity to vote, and we'll have a People's Choice Award. Both of those come with a $250 gift award to that neighborhood organization. So we encourage you to be thinking about what projects would work. Only 5 projects will be taken and actually have a chance to do the oral presentation. But we really want to encourage you to participate in that as well. Okay, now I'm stalling because neighborhood brags we can go into an announcement. But okay, so let's start, and then we'll suddenly stop those, if you will, because I really, if you look, this is neighborhood announcements and brags, so a couple of things. We really want to hear what's going on in your neighborhood. If you have something that's going great, or if there's something important going on in the community, we need to know about as neighborhood and community leaders. We want to hear about it. But we want to hear about it in 30 seconds or less. Because we have ADD, and we can also have a lot of people here who are really want to say something. So if you want to make an announcement, we're going to invite you to line up in this podium and make your quick announcement. And I won't cut anybody off as long as you're 30 seconds or less. And then we'll just keep going until the mayor gets here. So whoever wants to start off, come on up there and make your announcement or brag. And if you would state your name and either the neighborhood organization. Please.
Yes, my name is Larry Turnley. I serve on the Tribute Standard Board. I'm also co-chair of NOAA's Criminal Justice Task Force, and I'm a re-entry coordinator with Media's Armies here in North Nashville. I'm from North Nashville, South Nashville. On the 18th of November, me and one of my childhood friends, we started annual Thanksgiving Day dinner out in JC Navy. This would be our 8th year. And anybody interested in participating, you go to lovestowrite.org. LOVES, the number 2, WRIGHT.org. And that's our website. And any way you want to participate, all the instructions on there. Thank you.
Thank you. We are recording that, so you'll be able to watch us on YouTube later on. Excellent.
Randy Crawler, District 1, Boardwalk Roller Hills. This is an announcement for participatory budgeting. For anyone who either lives in District 1 or anyone who loves playing outside or playing in the park, Timothy Park upgrades is one of your voting selections on participatory budgeting. Please vote for Timothy Park upgrades. And for you council people here, if it does not win, please put it in the capital improvement budget. Thank you.
Good morning, my name is Ella Clay. I serve as Healing Minds and Soul, a nonprofit trauma-informed care community. On tomorrow evening at 4:30, we have 30 participants that will be graduating from our classes. We welcome you to come out and have dinner with us on tomorrow evening at 4:30. Thank you so much.
Thank you. We want to encourage everybody to get close to that microphone. Please.
I'm Alan Tables. I'm in the Renville neighborhood at East Nashville. This is neighborhood brag. For Halloween, we're not known as a neighborhood to come to, but we had a block party, had over 100 people show up for trick or treating and libations.
Sam Hurd, I'm a pastor here in District 1, but also on December the 5th, everyone has been asking, when will that building next to Family Dollar open for an open house? District 1 was a healthcare desert. On December 5th, we're gonna open the legacy development with the Nashville Healthcare Center following very soon. So we invite the community out on December 5th to come and see that building right there next to Family Dollar or Parks of the Highway. Thank you so much. December 5th at 11 o'clock that morning. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Kate Parrish, District 24, Silver Park. And in the last couple of months, we have a new Friends of the Cape Park organization that's going to be working to support the playground and ramp up a dog park and all kinds of good stuff. This morning, we're doing a large tree planting all along 46th and Murphy Road in the roundabout there. And we had a big Halloween showing on Park Avenue. They always go all out for that. And plug for Richland Library. It's teeny tiny and we would love to see it be a lot bigger.
Thanks.
We're adjusting. Alright, hi everyone. I'm Jacob Cuban. I am a District 19 councilperson and a neighborhood brag for our very own Carrie Crawford. Carrie lives across from Monroe Park where we lost about 20 trees in the 2020 tornado. And she's been advocating for more trees in the area, reaching out to different groups and organizations. And through her efforts, we were able to get, through the National Tree Foundation, 5 trees planted, 15 more are on the way. And the park made it into the participatory budget for more consideration for playgrounds and water fountains, and different things to build that park up. So really shows us the power of neighborhoods, the power of advocacy. Just wanted to give her a shout out for her work. Thank you.
Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Terry Poe. I'm the District 17 council member, and I have a couple of brags this morning. So I want to shout out William Edmondson, Homicide Parks and Garden Neighborhood Association. They just hosted their 2nd annual William Edmondson Arts and Culture Festival, which was amazing. And we were able to honor covenant families, tree planting, and also the lives of youth that were lost to gun violence in Edgeville neighborhood. So thank you so much. The neighbors have worked so hard there. I also want to shout out Midtown Music Row Neighborhood Association. They hosted a cleanup during the countywide clean spring. What's he gonna read? It was so wonderful. It was really great to see neighbors come out and appreciate Lisa leading that up. And then I also want to shout out to the Chestnut Hill Neighborhood Association. They have an annual barbecue that is for the neighborhood. It's free and accessible to everyone. They've been working hard to increase that. And last 2 things, same District 17, please vote for Dudley Park upgrades. This part has been neglected for probably 70 years. There is one swing, the second swing broke, and a family came with me and asked, can we get this swing replaced? And so that started the conversations. There was a tree that was really dangerous that could harm children on the playground. So if it can be one of your 5 votes, would really, really appreciate it. And wanted to invite everyone, of course, I'm having my first town hall next Sunday, November 12th at 1 o'clock at Connect. So everyone is welcome and we'll talk about lots of updates. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Terry. I wish I would have taken the bet this morning because I bet that if anybody went over 30 seconds, it'd be a councilman.
We have monthly meetings, an unofficial neighborhood association. And we've done things like seed exchange. Last week, we did our first porch fest and we make a state Halloween map. And we had a goal of planting 50 trees and we're doing 147.
Morning, I'm David Swanson with Magnolia Farms, lead advisor for Magnolia Farms in District 14, Hermitage. And we're the only 5 schools on the fishery, so don't tell anyone. So fortunately for me, I work for a company that partners with Google Fiber. So I'm pretty sure if I asked everyone to raise their hand who's had a problem with Google Fiber, I would say just hold tight for a moment. They're in the final stages of going live in about 1 month. So that's inside scoop. I work for the company that works with them, so you can let everyone know.
Thank you, David. Okay, sorry, Yolanda, we got a call that someone's coming, it's almost like Christmas. Let's have everybody take your seat, but we will continue with these at the end after we have an opportunity to hear from our new mayor. Thank you.
Put your extra time. Here we go.
We'll put an extra 15 seconds on the clock. This is a great opportunity, you know, when we started after COVID last year, Mayor Cooper came and we had a very brief conversation with him in January, and now we are in a new day with a new mayor. And this event is co-sponsored by the mayor's office and Neighbor to Neighbor. And we have an opportunity to hear from our mayor today. Unfortunately, you know, I've now been through several administrations, and I've got to say that the first couple of months of each administration is absolutely difficult because everybody's coming in and, you know, new and trying to figure out what their job is. So we had a little glitch. Mayor will not be able to stay with us, as I mentioned in the email today, for the whole hour. But I'm also glad that the mayor's chief of staff is going to be here, and she will take our concerns, our issues directly to him when he does have to leave. When I first came to Neighbor, one of the first people I met was our new mayor, Freddie O'Connell. He wasn't mayor back then. He wasn't even a Metro Council member back then. He was president of the Salem Town Neighborhood Association. And he was struggling with a lot of issues going on in that neighborhood. And he was also working, I believe at that time, with the what was then called MTA, on the board, working with how to get transportation better here in the city. And now, all these years later, he is coming today to us to speak, and what's he going to talk about? The importance of neighborhoods, right, and also transit, and how important that is. And so he's coming to a position at this point where we have someone who knows our issues, who cares about neighborhoods, and today we're going to hear his vision for what our neighborhoods are going to be like and what we want them to be like. So let us welcome our new mayor, the 10th mayor of Metropolitan Nashville, Davidson County, Mayor Freddie O'Connell.
Well, thank you, everybody. Thank you, Jim, and the staff and board at Neighbor to Neighbor. Thank you to North Precinct for hosting us. I know there are several council members here. And I think one of the things that Jim spoke about is so critically important to how we move forward as a city together, and that it is the experience of being a district council member in the mayor's office means that I know at the most local level for the past 8 years, representing District 19 just down the way, how all of this works among neighborhoods. One of the things that I spent a lot of time doing as a neighborhood leader that informed my work in the Metro Council was working with other neighborhoods. Salem Town brought me into connection with 3 other neighborhoods: historic Germantown, historic Buena Vista, where my successor, Councilmember Jacob Coupin, has been a neighborhood leader as well, and Hope Gardens, all began working together as a district of neighborhoods. And then Tanya Sherrill invited me into one of the most amazing experiences I had as a neighborhood leader, which was working with the North Nashville Leadership Council. And this was an even bigger community of neighborhoods that work together collaboratively, not just to solve problems at the neighborhood level, but actually to bring people into the process of political awareness. And so the North Nashville Leadership Council, when I was involved, would set up forums in spaces like this. In fact, we did one here at North Precinct for judicial candidates, for state legislative candidates, for local offices that don't always get exposure to neighborhood concerns. And this was really important for growing as a neighborhood. It was also as a neighborhood leader that I started working very closely with metro departments on things that our neighborhood needed. Like so many neighborhoods in Nashville, we had some infrastructure challenges. We were grappling with growing quickly, and so we invited a member of the planning department to come give our neighborhood effectively a clinic on how zoning works in the neighborhood, and it made us as an entire community better equipped to participate in how we shaped our future. We started working with a few of the partners within Metro that had big presence in our community. The Metro Action Commission was headquartered at that time in the old Fear School building on Fifth Avenue North. We worked with them to arrange a community development block grant implementation. And we also worked with them to get a historic marker at that site to recognize the important legacy of the Fear School with the process of integrating public schools in Nashville. Metro Water Services, our biggest metro neighbor, directly to our east, and they came into both Salemtown and Germantown, helpfully inquisitive about ways that the expansion of their campus could impact the neighborhood. And we turned their curiosity as a community into an amazing partnership where you would think something like a wastewater treatment plant expansion might not be something that would be of tremendous benefit to the neighborhood, but it's going to result in a dog park along a greenway. It has already resulted in an incredible new park space at 3rd Avenue North and Coffee. If you haven't explored this yet, I invite you to come over there. They put in a water feature. They use boulders excavated from the rest of the site to create climbing areas for children. There is a whole network of bridges and things for kids to play on, and we had a hard time with summer open last year getting our daughters out of the park when we got over there. But this basically happened because we had neighborhood level leadership that was interested. As a council member, I was still very interested in this. And I will share with you, one of the things that was important to me as we were not just campaigning, but as we've been building out our team in the mayor's office, is to be very intentional about how we structure an office of neighborhoods and community engagement. So I am very delighted to be here today. We just announced last week, Brittany Irby will be joining our administration as the Director of Neighborhood and Community Engagement. And we expect to restart a process that worked so well for me when I was a neighborhood leader myself, where we want to identify neighborhood captains around the city and start having meetings with neighborhood leaders directly in the mayor's office. So we will be working with neighbor to neighbor to help facilitate that. So thank you all for being here. It is great to be in an auditorium full of people who care about neighborhoods. For me, neighborhoods were the strength of my existence, in Nashville. It's one of those things that helps us celebrate diversity in the city. We know that neighborhoods across Nashville have been changing as the city has grown. And we hear obviously concerns about crime and safety, infrastructure, growth and development. And we want to make sure that the mayor's office is responsive to those concerns, not just in my neighborhood and not even just in District 19, but across the entire amazing 525 square miles of Nashville. I have been honestly, I've been very pleased with the way that I and our team have been able to be out across the entire city for the first few weeks that I've been in office. We have been everywhere from Bellevue to Hermitage to Antioch, and getting to explore some of these changes on the ground. One of the most exciting things recently was being out at the groundbreaking for a new Lakeview Elementary School in Antioch. And not just that there was a new school there, but that NDOT, and I see Director Alcon here, had worked with the community to make sure that there was a brand new sidewalk implemented where there are a lot of students and families within walking distance to that school. And so now that as that new school is under construction, students who should be able to safely walk to school now can. That's the kind of coordinated investment that we want to be making in neighborhoods across the city. Councilmember Huffman had the opportunity to be the first person who came into the mayor's office that met with Vice Mayor Henderson. We want to be in a position where we are meeting regularly with council members. We're going to be welcoming them into the mayor's office at the district level. And then I've already committed this to multiple council members. I want to make sure that over this period in office that I am in every of the 35 council districts of the city, meeting with council members and looking at things on the ground so that this is more than just math and conversations, sitting at a conference table or the desk. It is very, very important for me as mayor to be on the ground in communities all over the city. It's one of my favorite parts about running for office, being in all these communities. We made a map where I went in Nashville over the year of campaigning. And I think we touched we were in every single council district and touched most communities from Jolton to Waits Creek to King Ridge, to Forest Hills and Oak Hill, to Madison. And that's something we will continue. So I look forward to the relationships that we have with our district council members. I look forward to the relationships that our office will have with neighborhood leaders. And we look forward to strong partnerships with organizations like Neighbor to Neighbor, because we know that, again, coming back to the idea that neighborhoods are one of the strong elements that give Nashville our distinctive community feel, that make this city welcoming. And we know that people are going to continue to move to Nashville. And one of the things that we can do as a city is be welcoming as neighbors. Our favorite things are not just the work we do in our neighborhood, but that we have great social opportunities. That our neighborhood just recently had a Halloween party that brought neighborhoods together again in multiple nearby areas for a costume contest, a chili cook-off. Through the summer, we have a social series called Pink Flamingo, where if you find a house that has pink flamingos in it, you'll find fellowship and good food and beverage. And we kind of stole that idea, honestly, from a neighborhood in Edgehill that was doing Thirsty Thursdays. And so this came out of a neighbors office of neighborhoods event several years ago, where neighborhood leaders were networking and sharing ideas just like you all are doing today. What we're going to do as a mayor's office going forward, we're still in the first 100 days of this term. We're getting up to speed with council members. I know Vice Mayor Angie Henderson has done several trainings, workshops, and orientations with the new Metro Council. Your district council members are going to be amazing to contact. We want them to have resources as well. We have gotten a wonderful legislative services team pulled together. We just announced this week that Brian Sexton will be joining State Representative Darren Jernigan in office to work with the Metro Council specifically. If you don't know Brian, I know many of you will soon. Council members will get to know him real soon. Some of them already have a working relationship with him. You'll get to know folks like Sergeant Freeman, who I see sitting in the back as community coordinators in the now 9 precincts that we will have in the city of Nashville. These very community level points of contact are going to be great. And our job in the mayor's office is to make sure that if there is something that needs more than one department's attention, if there is something that needs a coordinated effort in multiple metro departments or across nonprofit organizations, communities, that we are there working to solve problems with a real person connected to the opportunity to offer a solution. We've already started that work with Hub Nashville. I hope everybody in here knows about Hub Nashville. If you don't, visit hub.nashville.gov, write down the number 311, and get the app on your phone if you don't already have it. For the past several years, this has been the way when I'm walking around our neighborhood and I see something that needs Metro attention. I take a picture on my phone, submit it to Hub Nashville, and then make sure we get followed up. And it can be anything from a place where I've seen illegal dumping, furniture on the curb, broken sidewalk, a pothole, a street light that's out. But you can also submit things that are public safety related. If you see someone in crisis about housing, if you see something that is a broken window somewhere, that you don't necessarily need to call police about. It is a great tool. And our team has already worked with both ITS and the Department of Emergency Communications on tightening up some things in Hub. And that has resulted in getting some abandoned cars off the street in East Nashville, getting an abandoned RV off the street in Edgehill. We are very focused on making sure that we have a customer service orientation and people working to solve problems. I know Councilmember Bo is here, and we have an Edgehill constituent who used to be a constituent of mine. And sometimes it is just putting people's direct attention on problems that results in them getting solved. And so we were able to collaborate and get something solved very quickly. And that's the kind of thing we want to be doing all over the city. I will share with you in this 100-day period, we've got a great transition process underway where we've got groups of individual Nashvillians of all walk of life and backgrounds participating in 3 major focus areas for us. And they are focused on how Nashville grows, how Nashville works, and how Nashville moves. We know that the city is experiencing an affordable housing crisis. And so as we grow, we are committed to a project on the East Bank anchored around the Titans Stadium, and Bob Mendez has joined the administration as the Chief Development Officer. He was formerly a council member at large for 2 terms with me. And we are focused on making sure we get investments in the East Bank that are anchored around commitments of ensuring that there is affordable housing there, ensuring that transit infrastructure, parks, green space, connectivity into East Nashville and into downtown to avoid some of the log jams that happen along the interstates and around them when there are Titans games happen. But we're also committed to making sure that the East Bank isn't the only place in the city that gets this scale and type of investment, that we are trying to do this in all 35 council districts. And when we have capital spending plans, they're not just focused on one part of the city, they're focused on the entire city. So that's what we're looking at for how Nashville grows. For how Nashville works, we're going to continue improving Nashville. We're going to continue building out our neighborhoods and community engagement approach. We will have, we're hoping to announce hire very soon for how we focus on new Indigenous Americans and the very coordinated approach that I got to experience back in 2014, where established neighborhood leaders worked directly with people who had just arrived in Nashville and worked to strengthen communities with people who are already there, interacting directly with people who are newly arriving. We are going to continue to work on having a customer-focused government for this entire period with greater transparency. I've already started having weekly press briefings in the mayor's office so that the media can come and make sure that they're up to speed on what we're working on. And I've started putting out a weekly calendar of public events so that the entire city generally knows what I'm doing and where I am and what I'm up to. And we will continue working on some transparency initiatives around here. And in how Nashville moves, you all might have heard this week a new report revealing that Nashville, among major American cities, has the worst commutes of any city in the country. This is something we are intent on working on. We know that we have underinvested in both transit and infrastructure, and particularly safe infrastructure. Just last year, we had the largest number of pedestrian fatalities the city has ever recorded, and we know there are intersections and streets that should be safer. We know that there are neighborhoods that should have sidewalks. So how Nashville moves, we're going to be focused on fixing all 3 of those things. That report showed an independent network of scores, a transit score, a walk score, and a bike score. And Nashville fared poorly on all of them. What it's important to do is not say to people you can't or shouldn't drive anywhere, but rather you should have the option to move around the city however you choose to, whatever the most affordable way you choose to is. And I will say, this conversation about how we move is directly related to affordable housing. And I can tell you from personal experience, because the only way that I became a homeowner in my hometown was after saving $8,000 a year, which is the average cost that we spend as Nashvillians on owning, maintaining, fueling, insuring, and parking our cars. After 3 years of doing that, when I was working to build my own career and have a pathway to home ownership, I had enough for a down payment on a house. That was because I was able to use our transit system, because I had learned how to be an urban bike commuter. And before I had children, it was an amazing way to start and establish ourselves as a family, which we did in Salem Town 16 years ago. More people deserve the opportunity to have that kind of financial empowerment, and that will be possible when we are done with those investments in how Nashville moves. In the next few weeks, I'm expecting those 3 transition committees to bring reports back into the mayor's office that have a lot of citizen input, that have a lot of subject matter expertise. Those 3 transition groups are meeting with folks from INDOT, are meeting with folks from WEGO, are meeting with people in our housing division of planning that are working every day on how we drive down the cost of housing in Nashville, are working with the Hub Nashville team to understand how we can improve our customer service. And this whole time, we're going to be working with all of you as neighbors, because at the end of the day, that is what I still am. I am still a neighbor living in a neighborhood with a neighborhood organization. And we want more national neighborhoods to be able to work in that organized way. So I am delighted to be here with you all. And I don't know, Jim, if I'm able to take questions or what, but I've got some time. I'm happy to share.
Yes, sure.
So thank you for having me.
Hey, you heard it. He's going to stick around for a little bit. If you want to line up over here, make your comments and
Now, I've never seen this young woman with the microphone.
I am so excited, you have 30 seconds, right? So, thank you so much.
turn off your mic.
So much, Mayor Freddie, and, first shall be last, last shall be first.
That's
So,
right.
I'm on the video, Yolanda. But, thank you so much, Mayor, but, my mind is just on overload right now. I get really excited when I hear the word neighborhoods. When I hear the word community, it just push a button in me. But I'm so glad to hear your focus is on neighborhoods. Not like the other areas are not important. But me as a neighborhood leader for the past 15, almost 16 years, we always find ourselves not at the table until the last minute. But I stand here, I would actually say I could actually represent at least 150 people. So when you recognize us as neighborhood leaders, you are recognizing those that trust us in this position. So we deserve a seat at the table. So I'm so glad I met you back in 2015. And I told people you are still the same now that you were then, with a passion and a focus for neighborhoods. Thank you so much for bringing us to the table. I look forward to working with you. And also on your point about work, when I see that point, I think about engagement. And we had Metro Water Service to come out and did a presentation for 2 days for us. And it was very, very enlightening. So thank you so much for bringing the directors and those in the leadership position in your administration to the community. So many times they push papers and deal with us on paper and numbers, but they came from behind the desk and came to the community meeting. And they were so enlightened that we're gonna have them to come back and do another detailed session. So that was just the first department. Thank you for Neighbor to Neighbor for referring that. But I plan to work with you to help bring us to the table. When I was campaigning in District 1, I identified 30 neighborhoods in District 1. We only hear about a few. I need to work closely with you to bring those voices to the table and get them engaged and involved. And I got a plan on how we can do that. But anyway, thank you so much for being the person that you are and being real. And I'm gonna hold you to that. I'm gonna hold you accountable to help me help us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ruby. And Ruby and I work together in that North Nashville Leadership Council process, and that is in fact how we first came to know one another. And I'll share just a couple of quick things in response to that. So long ago, and Jim knows this, we had historically tracked the number of neighborhood associations that we knew about in the city. And we want to make sure that one of the first things we do is refresh that so we have points of contact. I'll share a quick story, just shouting out NDOT for something that was one of the last things that I got to experience that headed right in the right direction. For years, you might be sometimes surprised by signs that went up in the neighborhood about a project that was going underway, or there was striping on the street that was confusing. Well, you all know one of the most popular programs in Metro is actually our traffic calming program. And not every neighborhood community can enroll because it is so popular and we have some funding constraints. But a few weeks ago, as I was ending my term as a district council member, we started to see something small but amazing. NDOT staff were reaching out directly to me as a district council member, but also people that they knew in the community from building relationships at the department level with community leaders. And this goes to Ruby's point. When our Metro departments, when our civil servants have these same relationships, it means we're better at not surprising people. We're better at directly engaging. And so when our neighborhood leaders started to hear that, hey, we might not have qualified for traffic calming at that highest level, but NDOT is doing a new pilot program to still look at opportunities to calm traffic, it meant a lot to them. And we want to see more of that in our Metro. So Ruby, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. So I'm going to. You all will see right over here in the brown jacket, Marjorie Pomeroy Wallace, who is our chief of staff. She has been instrumental in helping us build our team to be one that is successful. And standing next to her is Mike, who is giving me that side that I need to leave. But Marjorie is going to be here with you all while I can't be. Today is a wonderful day for Nashville. I will share with you. The Nashville Public Library Foundation has its literary honoree here, and our family has grown up with our two daughters reading Kate DiCamillo's books. For anybody who is unfamiliar with her, she is a two-time Newbery Award-winning author. And I promised my daughters today that I would help them get to see a world premiere puppet show based on one of her books, which is going on over at MLK, just down the road. So I will be in their auditorium in just a few minutes, joining my daughters for that puppet show. And I'm so sorry about the scheduling that means I can't be here with you all morning. But I'll say this, I'm not going anywhere. Neighbor to Neighbor will be a constant partner to the mayor's office, and our director of neighborhoods and community engagement will support not just your work, but our amazing district council members. And we know that you all have incredible community coordinators throughout the city at every precinct, and Ruby knows how to find it too. So thank you all so much for having me.
Marjorie, if you'd come on up, or we have a special chair for you. Whoops, she's walking away. Marjorie, if you want to come on up, we'll have you right here for us.
Just here to listen, but thank you. Yeah.
She's gonna listen from across.
I don't speak for them.
Okay, let's continue on then with the, and Marjorie is listening.
Okay, my name is Brittany McCann and I am from Hermitage. I'm sure that you guys have heard my name or seen me on the board. Due to the massive homeless encampment that we have in Hermitage that is spreading all over our city with no stopping it. This is not a homeless problem. This is a drug problem where we have been able to get statistical data that shows that the district attorney and the judges are not prosecuting or sentencing for drug usage, and it's including our hands to grow and spread out. We have been told that we are a priority for over a year now, but we have seen nothing but growth, trash, additional needles, drug dealers in our neighborhoods, dead bodies. The mayor did say that we have one of the highest pedestrian death rates. And a lot of that is coming from the homeless camps. We have had at least 3 camp members hit and killed by cars in the past 6 weeks. And there's nothing being done about it. There's no lighting. There's about 80 foot of sidewalk in front of one business. The amount that is happening in our stores and are causing them to sell get armed security guards. And we don't have 24-hour pharmacies, Kroger's not open for 24 hours anymore because of this homeless camp and the amount of death that we're having. We desperately need this camp closure, we need housing, and we need people that are arrested for dealing drugs, having stolen guns, put into jail, offered rehab, or going to BCC, and not just put back in the camps, because our homeless camp is an outdoor jail that the city doesn't have to pay for. As
Good morning, my name is Anasia, and I'm in District 1, the Bordeaux community, and I would like an intentional effort to promote and encourage private, and I do emphasize private development in our community. As it is, we have very few amenities that our community can go to. We're taking money out of our district and our community into other areas. We need money coming in, not out. And on one more note, as far as the effort to deconcentrate poverty, I would like another intentional effort to make sure that communities that have historically not had affordable housing have some affordable housing, so that it takes off the pressure of communities that historically have had to bear the brunt of having all of the affordable housing. Thank you.
Thank you.
And my name is Thomas. My concern is certainly not as important as the affordable housing issue that this city faces. But I wonder what we as communities can actually do about the imminent problem that Nashville is running out of dumping space. We don't have enough space to put all the trash. So what can we as communities actually do to reduce the use of single-use plastic in every restaurant and fast food store in this city? Is there anything that we can also do in our communities to work with our neighbors to actually reduce their own use, have more awareness of the trash we're producing that the city can't put anywhere anymore? We're running out of space, and our recycling program has been improving. But if you just spend 10 minutes researching what Europe has done for 30 years, we can't remain this ignorant. We're not attacking this problem. There's no dumping sites for recyclable products that are easily accessible. They're all behind gates by the city. They're closed on Sundays and Mondays. You can't get rid of your cardboard. You can't get rid of actual recyclable things like cans in glass. They're not in the, or cans are actually in the curbside pickup. But we need to get a lot more awareness within our community, what we can do on an individual basis. And I can tell you, yeah, the city is working on trying to get developers to separate their trash. First of all, they have a stronger lobby and nothing is being done. I had a communication with the office of the mayor, and they were like, we're still researching. And I'm just wondering, what's the research going to be done? And when are you going to start doing something to make it easier to recycle and reduce the amount that goes to landfills, so we don't have to get new valleys just designed to dump our trash that could be avoided. Thank you.
My name is Sheila Doris, and I am leader in Skyline Village subdivision. A lot of people may not know where that is, but it's right off of Riley and Vickers. And I would just like to address 5 points. In that neighborhood, there's along Dover side, right across from Skyline Hospital. There's a homeless camp right behind the Walmart. And it's called Tennessee Needles, what I hear. A lot of drug usage and so forth and so on. And quite a few people have been killed trying to walk across Dickerson Pike. And so I'm hoping that to make that area safe, to have like a bridge over Dickerson Pike for people to come from Skyline Hospital over to Davidson. It's a lot of people are getting killed. It's unfortunate. And then as far as the homeless camp, finding a way for the people that are using drugs to get rehab and so forth, as the other person mentioned before. I think that's so important because I have a neighbor's kid who walks from Walmart to the home and he sees somebody doing drugs with a pipe and everything else. He shouldn't be seeing that type of thing. And it's just terrible. And the other thing I want to address is affordable housing grants, if that could be put back into place. That's what helped me to get my home where I am in Skyline Village. Due to the affordable housing grant, I was able to get my home built from the ground up and paid just a small fee, and that was a blessing to me. And I think if that could come back, that would be great. And then another thing that I think should be looked into, since the cost of living in Nashville is, the minimum for housing is at least $1,400, if not more. I think looking at the unemployment rate, changing that from $275 a week to a lot more to try to accommodate for the person to at least be able to pay for them to stay in their home.
Time.
I think that's something that should be looked into. Other than that, I would like to share some great news.
That's right.
You can come back for neighborhood brags.
State Parish District 24, Sylvan Park. I just completed Neighbors Planning Academy, which was incredible. If you haven't done it, I wish that everybody on Metro Council could go through it. And I feel like some of my cohort is here today, and not one of us was from the same part of Nashville, yet we all had the same concerns and were saying the exact same thing, and not one of us overlapped in neighborhoods. And the main things that we were talking about is how Nashville, the reason so many people want to move here and be here is because of our distinct neighborhood, because of Nashville's DNA, because of our culture. But we have these huge monolithic developers that come from out of state, and we're the last to know when something is happening in our neighborhood. And I live in 1 mile from an intersection that has been a grade F for over a decade. And now they're going to add 1,200 units to that block with no upgrades there. We haven't even gotten a turn signal upgrade. And what came out of that was basically that the developers involved all contribute to yet another study. We have, Nashville loves to study.
Yeah.
And I love that for us, but we also need to take some action.
That's right.
Our planning academy, we wanted to see ways in which we can change the process in which neighbors get involved in things that are happening in their neighborhood. You're the ones left with no sidewalks or sitting 5 minutes at one light or et cetera. And we came up with a lot of, just for us, seemed like low hanging fruit, process oriented things. Like if I'm going to take time out of my schedule to go sit at a planning commission meeting at 5 p.m. on a Tuesday until 1 a.m. and I get to talk for 2 minutes, I want to be heard and I want to know that that means something. And I don't think that's what's happening right now. And developers that get to defer 15 minutes before the planning meeting starts, it's not fair. It disenfranchises all of us, and it dilutes the culture of Nashville and all the reasons that people come here get watered down. Thank you.
Frank McCall, I'm Blank Neighborhood Group's president, and we have concerns. This past week, we had 3 hit and runs that resulted in deaths. So the 16th district had to issue pretty much everybody else in traffic calming, but we have a lot of people dying on no one's story. Find a way to, and we're also having recently a real increase in gunfire in our neighborhood, which has been in 20 years. It's not something we've had. I want to compliment South Precinct because he smells it in his willingness to work with the community. Our response from them, very pleased with that, and also serve with the problem with the school and the traffic issue. Thank you so much for what you did for our community.
Okay. This is probably gonna be for Bob and Davis when you get your staff meetings. District one, the board,
What's your name?
Randy,
Randy.
and Brother is. The board of hospital property. It's a very great potential.
Be careful,
For economic development in Bordeaux.
be careful.
Workforce housing, commercial, not just 0 to 30% affordable housing. So please take that to the development team. We have an opportunity to make Bordeaux better and not just everything, affordable housing, nonprofit service oriented, industrial zoning, waste. You get it. So please, that meeting.
Yeah, this is just why there's a lot more people out there at the lake right now. I've never been to a public hearing.
I can get back up there,
Yeah, right there. Got some other people. Don't be shy. Okay, that's what I think.
Yeah, I'm not.
Okay, these more people, my name is Alan Hobb, and I live in
And I just wanted to address here, and I know Nashville has a lot of needs and all legitimate. One of the things I have been advocating for, and I've lived on my street since 1980. So 40 years. And I've been asking every administration over that period of time, going all the way back, I think, to Bill Boner. Way back, and all councilmen, councilwomen, to address the issue of simple sidewalks.
Yep.
And, I'm still waiting. Now, I don't know about everybody in this room, but that's 40 years away, and I don't have another 40. You know, at some point, we have seen National Road become the hit city. We've all experienced that in every single neighborhood here. We've all seen the growth that changes everything. And the infrastructure, you know, the growth goes like this and the infrastructure goes like this. And that's what we've seen for 40 years, and every administration got a little more urgent, a little more talking about it, a little more, we've had planning, we've had, you know, input. And where are we? Where is the plan right now? If there is one, has it been, do you all know about it? What is the long-term plan for these sidewalks, the roads, the greenways? The things we've been asking for, as the city has gotten more and more and more urgent, to where it's on the verge of collapsing under its own weight. There's so much traffic. There's so much dangerous intersections. Every one of you have talked about neighborhoods and the inability to get around. We need sidewalks connected. We need traffic lights that actually control traffic. We need crosswalks that are lit, sidewalks that are safe throughout the city to connect all of this, all of these neighbors that we're all here trying to connect. And we're not doing it. I don't think. Yes, we've had some accomplishments, and yes, there's some greenways and some new parks and stuff. But I would say, here's my view of it. You can take the budget that we have right now, the sidewalks and traffic calming and greenways, and it'll take 100 years before we even get the basics done. So we just have to face the fact we need more money in this thing. That's just the way it is. We need more money in order to commit it, and you can take our budget and double it, triple it, quadruple it, and it'll still take 50 years to get the things that we're all needing and wanting. So, but we have to do something about it. And you can take the time frame and cut it in half, and cut it in half again, and it'll still take too long. But we need to, there's always people saying, you know, it's not in the budget, or it's in the budget that hasn't been allocated, or it's been allocated, but it's gonna be 5 years before it gets out. That's what I hear all the time. I don't have any more time to wait. So I'm urging, what's different about this mayor's office?
What's different about all these council people that we've gone through for 40 years? Now is the time to have some urgency.
Yes.
Let's get it done. I don't want a 5-year project. I want a 5-month project. Let's get it done now. Thanks.
Morning. I'm in your Campbell, I'm in District 5, specifically the McFerrin Park community. And as many of you know, or don't know, I'm adjacent to River North and East Bay. So you know the amount of construction and development that's going to occur if it hasn't already started in my community. That being said, neighborhood is important to McFerrin Park and the adjacent neighborhoods, right? So I see development coming in, try to engage them, but along some corridors, we don't have as much influence as we would like to have. The deers are in my neighborhood. The coyotes are in my neighborhood. Why is that? Because we're cutting down so many trees and we're just not accounting for the neighborhood structure being carried over into the new development. I have nothing against new development, but I want to be cohesive. I want them to understand that we need to work together and not clear cut and put up cement walls. That's not the way you go about maintaining the neighborhood. Now, that's the one thing that I hear from different age groups, for people. Oh, I like all the new development. I like all the new stores. I like, okay, that's great. But there are people who've been here for a while or starting families and they like that aspect too. So one of the things we should do in working with the development planning department is to understand that maybe the formulas you're using for the amount of trees and the age of these trees which they're planting need to be revisited. Because one of the things that people are enjoying when they come from other communities is the fact that it is a neighborhood. And they like the maturity of the trees. And I'm a New Yorker, not from the city. And so I have a value of trees. I know what trees can do for that you have here. I know what it can do for the atmosphere when kids are playing. They are playing in neighborhoods that have trees that understand the nature aspect. I understand that people still want to be able to walk in the community and go to neighborhood stores. We don't want just the cement walls.
Right.
We want to be able to still have a community. I want to be able to say that you can start here at age 0 and end here at age 99. If you go beyond that, even better. But that's one of the problems. STR is the other thing as well. We got to have more of a grip of how to get a hold of that. We want to be able to tell people more of a penalty base. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Brenda Morrow. I'm with the Edge Hill Community District 17. Thank you all for coming out this morning. I walked in here because I went around in circles so many times. And I don't know what all it was covered before I got here. But it's such a beautiful thing to see such a blend and a mix of people in a setting early on a Saturday morning. I don't see the young lady that was talking about drug deals and killing and stuff like that. But we have meetings in the Midtown Hills precinct monthly called the Community Advisory. And some of the stuff that come up are some of the same stuff that I'm here to hear this morning. So what we did was ask that they bring someone from the DA's office to specifically talk about why it is that elderly people are being held hostage in their community. They can't come out. There's drug deals, there's drinking, there's fighting, there's shooting, there's people shooting dice, and they're afraid. They're so afraid. But we asked the DA to come out, and we heard some of the same things that the young lady said today about, it's just a revolving door. They bring them in and they don't keep them. So I don't know, I don't know if she left, but one of the things that came out of that meeting, after I took the information from meeting with the person from the DA's office that was advising me, the residents sit around and we talked about, so what can we do? So the next thing on our list, and I hope that, I see her, I hope I get to tell her. The next thing on our list, items to do is to send out an invitation to the judges and the district attorney's office to ask people and the attorney to work together to try to provide the maximum that the law allows. You should not have people just coming in and out. They know that if they're selling drugs, they kill somebody. I mean, 11 years ago, if you robbed somebody, they would give you what, 23, 33 years in prison and stuff like that. But you can kill somebody, rape a child, and then you be back out on the street in a few months. We have got to meet with the judges to let them know the frustration that's being felt by the people in the communities dealing with stuff like this.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry too, Jim, but the other thing was about, the homeless community. We worked with the Tennessee, the homeless coalition. And I don't understand why there's so many government buildings standing around empty when they should purchase those buildings, you know, give them to the community organization, something for $1, and then partner with developers and make us a homeless shelter. You know, that one little place, couple of places, that's not enough to accommodate people. And it should be something safer. I just think that if we put our minds together and do some think tanks. Do some think tanks.
Like it one time.
The need of our neighborhood leaders.
I just wanted to add, because I haven't heard it mentioned yet, but it's a real opportunity with all the new infrastructure that will be coming to make it cutting edge, clean. As a homeowner, I've had a hard time getting solar. I mean, straight up, I had a company scam me, and it was a company that was vetted on the TBA list. They took them off, and the Attorney General ended up running them out of business because they found it was corrupt. But I got several quotes, and they were all crazy. And so we're going backwards with like solar, I know for sure. I'm not an expert on all the things that you're doing. Separating compost from your garbage is a big one, and you can use that compost to make energy. Things like that.
We're going to invite our neighborhood brags and announcements if anybody has those. I do want to, I think Sam's in the room. I have the privilege of being on the steering committee for Imagine Nashville. Imagine Nashville is a group of citizens, a large group of citizens who are working to reimagine what our city should become. This is not a government agency. This is a citizen-led group. And Sam, would you mind just taking a moment and talking to people about that? For 2 minutes.
Thanks so much for introducing us, Jim. Well, I love sitting in this room. I don't love hearing the concerns. That it's really important, I think, for us to all hear and more than hear, be able to sort of aggregate that in a meaningful way. I want to encourage you all, if you aren't already aware, and you should have home cards, I can get you more. We want to hear from every single resident in Nashville, because what we want to do is be able to say, not only the city government, because city government alone can't fix everything, but also to the foundations of town, the business sector, the nonprofit sector. We're all going in 100 different directions, and we want to understand the direction that our residents want
so that we can align all of those different resources together in a fundamentally different way and work together in a different way. Right now, what we're doing is sort of an audit, and we'll be able to tell you things down to the zip code, down to the neighborhood. And I can't stress enough how important it is for this to be as many people as we can get across the city, to be involved in this, particularly, groups who are traditionally more disenfranchised, who have, all kinds of different challenges. And so let me just get to it. This is the card you all have in front of you. There's a QR code. If you all will scan that, then it's a survey. It'll take 5 minutes, up to 10 minutes, depending on how much you want to offer up. And we really would love if you would encourage your neighbors, your friends, your family to also complete this, so that we really see across the city and can share that. If anybody owns a business, or this is something that can go in your church or school, then oh, I know, because it's a window plane. That's why it's backwards. This is a window plane that will help us promote and draw in community voice. So thanks, Jim.
Thanks, yeah. I want to take a moment as we get ready to brag, to thank our the mayor's chief of staff, Marjorie Wallace, for being here today. Like the mayor, she also has an extremely busy schedule, so it's good for her to be here as well. Thank you, Marjorie. All right, I gotta have an extra 15 seconds on the clock.
Yes.
Now that I have time, I am Yolanda Lockett. I am a board member of the Haines Trinity Neighborhood Coalition and recent past president. And I want to let you all know that our next community meeting is going to be a community social. It's going to be on Thursday, November the 16th, from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the Riverside Church, which is located on Young's Lane. It's going to be very fun and interesting. We're going to have a representative from the mayor's office. We're also going to have Mr. Spencer Mullins from the Dedicated Senior Citizen Place, which is located on Clarksville Highway. That's the new senior citizen medical center that's coming on Clarksville Highway, where the old Pizza Hut used to be. So we're looking forward to seeing him. And then Jack's Barbecue is providing the food, so you can leave work, come, get you something to eat. Don't worry about that. Also, we're gonna have various games. All kind of board games, so you can bring your kids. We're gonna have bingo with lots of prizes. So again, looking forward to it. Thursday, November the 16th, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the Riverside Church. Now, as far as brags, we want to let you all know the Haines Trinity Neighborhood Coalition has been able to get a community benefits agreement with one of the developers that was building some development in our community. We also wanted to let you all know that our organization has been able to raise $85,520.70 for the Title I schools that's been in our community that needed some assistance. $12,550.03 went to Haines Middle School. $11,304.82 went to Adams Green Elementary School. $11,665.85 went to Cumberland Elementary, and $50,000 went to White Creek. All right.
I'm still sharing the call from Blanchard Neighborhood Group. I'd like to introduce my secretary, Alexa Little, who started our brag is this year we decided to talk with the muralists and have the murals that are down by the zoo redone. And the murals represent the difference. We have a very ethnically diverse community, which we're really proud of. The food is fantastic. But anyway, we had each one of the columns done to represent a continent, an animal, and patterns, fabric patterns from those groups that are represented in our community. And those animals are also at our zoo. And we are still raising money for this, if anybody wants to donate. But we felt like our community, we don't get much chatter. South Nashville between Nolensville Road, Thompson Lane, and the zoo, it's pretty trashy. We have a whole lot of car places, used cars places, tire places. We wanted to bring some beauty into our community that invited people as they're coming off the interstates into our part of the community and make it look cleaner and inviting. And places that people want to go, and we will continue to do this as a neighborhood. We are a small group, but we are a passionate group, and we're really proud of those murals. So if you're down there by the zoo, check those out. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Sue Mulcahy, and I'm a volunteer with Neighbor to Neighbor, and along with Metro Office of Emergency Management, we are offering workshops in household disaster preparedness. And we try to make them a nice conversation, not just a lecture. We provide all the materials. We ask your neighborhood. It could be an informal group too. They have maybe at least 8 people to make the drive worthwhile. And we give out some gifts, and we present all the materials. We'll provide you with a digital flyer to help publicize the event. And all we ask you to do is provide a venue. It could be a church meeting classroom. It could be a Metro Park Community Center. It could even be somebody's home that has a big enough living room. And we come and present information, a lot of information and resources on how and why your community, your house can be prepared for the emergencies that might happen in your neighborhood, how to know your neighbors and work together. We're the first line of defense. When something happens, we talk about what kinds of things can happen and what kind of resources you can get. So I have some cards. If you want to see me to make an arrangement, we just, it's an hour and a half long. And it's a good way, the fact that you're trying to get a community together. An event that some people might want to come to, gets you to connect to one another. Or you can contact the offices of Neighbor to Neighbor and I'll put you in touch. Did you have a question?
I want a card.
You want a card? Okay.
I want a card.
All right, I'll get them out. Thank you. Thanks.
Hello, everyone. I'm Gina Coleman. I'm with Thames Park Neighborhood Association. I'm the treasurer. And this is the time that we're doing our fundraising for our driver's license plate reader cameras. So we just ask anybody who wants to soak toward our good effort. We've raised over the last 3 years, $12,000. And I think as our motto is united we stand, united we plan, united we can, as we take each other's hand. We know we can't do this by ourselves. So this is an effort that safety has always been Haynes Park #1 driving force. That's something that we started and stand on for the last 20 years. Also, we want you to be alert when you're going into Family Dollar or any of the dollar stores or the markets and you see this group of kids. They have been panhandling and asking people, pulling guns on people and robbing them. So we want you to be alert of that. Some crimes this is an at-risk family that we really try to work with to help. However, these kids are out of control. So we are looking for different ways of working with the commander to address this issue. If you have any wisdom toward that matter, we invite your comments and your input. So because like I said, united, these group of kids are at risk for getting seriously hurt with robbing people. So we want you to be alert of what's going on up and down the pike from the library on up to the Y. So we think that's their spot. Thanks.
I'll make it short, sweet, and simple. I just want to invite everyone, on behalf of Doris Cancer Oasis, I am hosting an event at Jefferson Street on November the 18th, inviting all cancer survivors of Davidson County
and Nashville, native Nashvilleian, to come out and celebrate life. I'm 10-year cancer survivor, and I just want to invite everyone. And it's gonna have a food truck on site. And if anybody from the mayor's office can come, that would be great. That's all I want to say.
Now, I just want everybody to know the time. They start your meetings on time, they end on time, and people will be happy with you, hopefully you'll be happy with us. Next time, Saturday, January the 20th. Lacey and I, by the way, were here, totally forgot what the next precinct is, we already had another precinct meeting. But we want you to know that we've already began to work on the program, there's a new conversation happening within Metro Council and other parts of the community on compact development. When we meet the next time, we're going to have people on a panel, pro and con, talking about it, so we can learn what it is. Because some of us don't know yet, and have that conversation. So the 20th is the next big event. Don't forget about the 23rd of March, which is the date of the Conference for Neighborhoods. And then next August, we will have our next conference on neighborhood disaster preparedness as well. I just want to get that out today. Thanks to everyone who came out today. You are amazing people. We look forward to seeing you individually and getting a chance to talk with you later on. Have a good day.
No, I just.